I need sports to have to clear the room. Stand up and walk now.
Hello and welcome to The Watch. My name is Chris Ryan. I am an editor at TheRinger.com, and joining me in the studio, he's the guy who spams Mother Love Bone at the State Trooper Bar. It's Andy Greenwald.
I can't decide.
Chloe's just like me.
Which part would I do worse at?
I can't
Lefty's
believe
Tap
that
Room.
Mother Love Bone showed up on task last night.
You can't believe it?
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into Task. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mandalorian trailer. We have some chatter about what a huge week of television we have this week, man. It's almost overwhelming. Greenwald, it's great to see you. You can email The Watch at the watch at Spotify.com. You can follow us on Instagram, TheWatchPod_. You can watch us on YouTube, Ringer-TV, or watch us on Spotify, where I hope you're listening. And Sunday, I imagine it was a roller coaster of emotions for the kid.
That's all I wanted to talk to you about. Mainly, so we did not, previous week, we did watch the Eagles together.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good. We had a kind of, it was a little bit like High Holy Days in an Orthodox or conservative temple. Men and women were in separate rooms. And the women had a sort of a crafting thing going on, and the men were watching sports. And that was okay.
I wouldn't know, but go ahead. Yeah.
And we didn't do that again this week. So we were in our respective domiciles for this game. It was a roller coaster. Can I ask you something? Just between you and me and Kaya and all our friends in the listening community. I seemed okay, right? I didn't seem to...
Last week or this week?
No, this week, over text. Was I like...
You seemed fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, you seemed fine. Why? Were you fine?
I was fine.
Okay.
Chris, it's really important for me for that you think...
Don't print in the newspaper that I was mad.
Exactly. I just want you to think that I was okay. I was pretty level-headed. I was like, well, this will be an instructive loss. And then I was like, well, it'll be a moral victory. And then I was like, oh shit, we just won.
So what did you do after the Eagles beat the Rams on a last-second field goal block return for a touchdown to cover?
From those around me at the time, including, I imagine, the neighbors, I've been told that a sound emerged from my body that has never before emerged from my body.
A barbaric yawp?
Here's the thing, though. I think that as a, which camera's on? Hashtag father of daughters. I think it's important not to continue the cycle of really like angry sports dads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I definitely try to keep it. I'm less crazy, hopefully, around them than I am with the fellas. But when that happened, I had the first, I was ready to be like, oh, well, see, it's okay. And that noise seemed to begin in my sternum. And then Jordan Davis blocked it. And then Jordan Davis ran 18.59 miles per hour down the field for the touchdown. Yeah. And the noise turned into something else. It was kind of like one of those Greek mythological creatures that's part lion, part eagle, you know? And it was not cool. It was not a cool sound. So I really spent the rest of the day living that down.
We were like, wasn't that weird when I made that sound?
No, first you do the thing, we were like, nobody heard that, right?
Yeah, right.
That didn't come out of me. But it did. It did. Isn't it nice to still learn things about ourselves at this age?
I think it's what life's
beautiful.
all about. It's just a constant journey of discovery. Let's discover some television.
So no comments on your behavior?
My behavior was fine. I got to be completely honest. I was working for the middle part of the game where I felt it falling out of reach. I was just I am not going to watch every play and criticize Matt Pryor. I have other stuff to get done today. Right. And so I was trying to basically get ready for rewatchables in the watch while that was happening. And then as soon as they let they uncuffed young Jalen and let him deal, I was like, okay, we're back. I was telling Kai that at one point, I think I started intimating that I'd be ready to go out for a lovely lunch with my wife. I was like, we could just turn our backs on this.
You can never say that.
And she was like, okay, let me know. And then I was just like, I don't know why you're dressed. We're never leaving this house.
Because I've learned over time.
I'm never leaving this couch because look what amazing things happen when I sit here.
The spot on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
I've learned later in life that it's important never to crack the window. Because when we say, you know what? It just might be an early day for me in the NFL.
Yes.
We say that for ourselves to make ourselves seem normal to ourselves. If someone takes us up on that, that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
It's a huge mistake.
This week on television,
Yeah.
people are going to be busy.
Yeah.
There is something for everyone. And I think, the best week of the year in the TV year.
Best week of the year.
So we've got, obviously, Task aired last night, the beginning of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We have
It was a good start.
Alien Earth finale. We're all on the edge of our seat to find out what those crazy kids got up to this week. Also on Tuesday night is the release of the first 2 episodes of The Lowdown on FX, which is Sterlin Harjo's return to TV after the Reservation Dogs.
And they're dropping 2 episodes.
And there's dropping 2 episodes. I'm actually doing an event with Sterlin and Ethan Hawke tonight. And we're going to use the audio from that event where we're screening an episode for Thursday's show.
And video.
I'm sorry I can't join you, but I think we could probably say Ethan Hawke requested that I not be present.
I don't know why you keep saying that. I thought we all had a great connection with him when he came on for Good Lord Bird.
We did. We had a great time, but I felt the spark between you guys, and I don't want to be the third wheel.
We're just 2 guys who love Rihanna, you know? What do you want?
I am sorry I can't celebrate Rosh Hashanah with you guys.
It's a shame. Yeah.
Those are good people, and it's a great show.
And also this week, we have the return of The English Teacher, which comes back with its full 2nd season on the 25th.
It's so good. It's so good.
Not only that,
yeah,
I believe the first 2 episodes of Slow Horses season 5 go up this week.
Damn.
It's the best season since the first one.
Whoa.
I'm serious. They're back. It's a fully absolutely everything you would want from Slow Horses is this season.
This is great.
And then House of Guinness, which comes out Thursday night, Friday
week?
morning.
That's also this week?
That's all this week. So there's 2 full seasons dropping. God. And I have to say, the fucking morning show is really good this season.
Man.
And the 2nd episode is awesome.
Wait, awesome?
Not awesome oh my God, this is Carrie and Brody in a cabin awesome, but that's my only...
That is your greatest...
My only reference point is Homeland. Sterlin, was Homeland in your mind when you were making the Lowdown?
Sterlin, you cast Tracy Letts in the pilot of your show. Did you know he was on Homeland S3? Then walk away.
So what a week. What would you say you're most excited for? I guess you've seen some of the Lowdown.
I've watched The Lowdown. I've watched English Teacher. I've not yet watched Slow Horses. I would say that's more of a Apple Plus screener site issue than a me issue.
Okay.
I've tried.
Okay.
But of these shows, what am I most excited about? Well, I think I'm excited about The Lowdown because I have dreamed of having a show like this back on television.
Tell people a little bit about it.
Okay, well, no spoilers, obviously, but when Sterlin was on this podcast, really, the scheme of things, not that long ago, he said that his next project it had a different title at the time, but he was making a down on his heels PI show starring Ethan Hawke set in his beloved hometown of Tulsa, and his number 1 North Star guiding light for the show was Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And he has done this. Hang the banner.
He really did that.
Mission accomplished. In all of the best ways, in all of the, oh my God, I can't believe they really let him get away with this ways. He has gathered up, I would say, a Hall of Fame that guy cast.
2 dozen?
Of just those guys.
But also just people that I've never met before or never seen before who come on and do 2 scenes and you're like, well, I'll follow you anywhere, brother.
Yes. Well, or Macon Blair is a filmmaker, is really talented, friends of his.
Directs a couple episodes of Lowdown.
He was on Reservation Dogs, and then he plays a character on the show that within minutes of introducing him in the pilot, I'm like, I cannot wait to spend the next 6 years with these guys.
Yeah.
It's an absolute, for me, it's an absolute delight.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's no perfect. This is one of my favorite Hawke performances in recent memory because I think, is he kind of flits between mainstream blockbuster movies, often genre movies where he's, in action films and horror movies, and then kind of really exploring the studio space when it comes to some of his more independent choices, whether it's stuff that he's directing, stuff that he's appearing in. One thing I really, really respect about him is that when one of his longtime buddies makes a movie, he's in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Like Rick Gomez makes a movie, Ethan Hawke is in it. You know what I mean? He works with his family. It's just a very impressive way of doing things. But this has some qualities where it's both the wild-eyed idealist romantic dreamer side of Ethan Hawke, but also the incredibly approachable everyday guy that he is capable of being.
Who just loves to act, who loves to show up. I would also say, and we'll talk more about it later in the week, and throughout the season, I hope, when we have talked about like dream projects from auteurs over the last few years, it tends to be people being like, I can't believe they let me play in the Star Wars sandbox. Or finally, the keys to the Xenomorph were handed over, because that's the nature of the business. Sterlin leveraged the success of Reservation Dogs into making a show that is at once a love letter to his hometown and honestly a love letter to the things that he loves.
Yes.
So there is a character who wears a hat, a lot like Sterlin wears, who owns a used bookshop that stays open despite itself on a street next to a lawyer who's his best friend and a diner that has great coffee all night. And I'm like, this is the dream of any writer and filmmaker to be like, I want to make a show about the things that I love in the space that I know and have it. But the trick is he makes it feel welcoming and not just someone telling you about a dream he had one time.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from where it's shot and his familiarity and his love for his city. And there are moments, this is a very like ornate, like multi-layered mystery conspiracy show about one man up against an institution or force that is almost beyond his comprehension. But it takes time to have these beats, like a guy walking into a used bookstore and being like, I'm home, or a guy getting food and like being like, this is good food. Like
this food tastes
like
good.
These like real life beats that give the show like a ton of depth and
heart.
And heart. Yeah, you're right. I can't wait to talk about it. We'll hit that on Thursday along with Alien.
I would also say having English teacher back, I watched 2 and I had to hold back from watching more because I just think that show is so funny.
I can't wait to check it out. Speaking of the Star Wars sandbox, many, many, many people are asking, Andy, why is your silence so deafening on the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer?
I mean, in the hour since it dropped?
What did you think?
You're so excited to talk about this.
Little minute and a half taste of what Filoni and Favs have been cooking up.
I would say, I have 2 headline takes and then I'd like to cede the sandbox to you. One take, these are definitely like, these are more modest, not barbed takes, because I do have other thoughts that maybe...
You don't want to get aggregated.
I don't want to get aggro. Yeah, Kaya's watching. She leaned in.
Kaya the Hutt getting ready to cut up. Another viral take. Andy versus the Mouse House, round 4. Go ahead.
If Bob Iger thinks the release of this trailer is going to silence the... I think that on the one hand, like, it's a kid's adventure movie. And that is actually what that is what George Lucas said he wanted to do with Phantom Menace. That is, even like the kind of Indiana Jones / Flash Gordon font at the end speaks to the influences that George Lucas had originally for this trilogy before it became nerd rage bait for grown men. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's an audience for that, and it could be fun.
We'll see.
My main take, though, is that Disney, this is chickens coming home to roost in the sense that this looks like a fun sizzle reel for a new season of television on the Disney Plus service. There was absolutely nothing in this that made it seem cinematic.
It's a teaser and they didn't have any dialogue. Not that this is a dialogue-rich show in the first place.
Correct.
But I agree with you that it is strange that this is a show probably, I would imagine, I do not have the data in front of me, that has had, if not a declining viewership, a declining sort of Q rating.
Well, also, it just hasn't been around.
And it hasn't been around for a couple of years.
And one of its seasons wasn't even it.
Well, yeah, it was the Book of Boba Fett that turned into a Mandalorian season
mini-season
2.5 or 3.5 or whatever. And so it's just a teaser. I'm not trying to condemn it, but there is a feeling of, do you remember that scene in Armageddon when they first bring Bruce Willis into NASA?
Hell yeah.
And they're like, you guys, we need you to drill on this asteroid to save the Earth. And he's like, this is the best you could come up with. Like all the guys at NASA, like this is the plan. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt watching that. I was like, oh, yeah, you guys got a hut. And
played by Jeremy Allen White.
And some giant snowbots.
Well, it's like the same, first of all, like can we see, like, how hard is it to get insurance on those giant walkers for the Empire these days?
I see.
Because
are those AT-ATs?
No, those are the two-footed ones.
And are they?
These are
do
Imperial
you
walkers?
refer to them as AT-ATs or AT-ATs?
We've litigated this.
Have we? Because I feel like I called them AT-ATs when I was a kid.
I did too.
And now I've been harshly corrected by the community.
Yes, the community was.
I got a community note.
But
I can't remember what it was supposed to be.
That happened to both of us, I think.
Okay.
On the playgrounds of Philadelphia, separate playgrounds because we didn't know each other. We were both like, just talking up AT-ATs and asking to go to the water fountain.
That's right. I was running numbers.
You probably were.
you were observing the high holidays.
Please, not on Yom Kippur. I agree with you. Look, there's also an interpretation of this where I'm like, this is actually the end of an art form in the sense that, look, here, Kaya, take this one. I'm going to put it on the T for you because this is a Star Wars. They took a couple years off. Uh-huh. Kathy took a couple years off to really like kind of 4D chess it, and they came back with a movie that could be a TV show that was filmed entirely in front of a volume, starring a random person in a suit and a puppet.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cartoon Muppets. Like, and they're like, let's see. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is very, very little here that one could, Sean Fennessy voice, call cinema. Okay? Like, charitably. It doesn't mean that there is no place for this. I think that though in the conversation about Lucasfilm, about Disney, about Star Wars, that this is what they have. When it's impossible to distinguish what makes this different from a TV show. And the only other thing we have going for the larger story, now that Andor is done, is one shot of Ryan Gosling hanging out on the ocean with a kid.
Which is not in the stars.
Which is not in the stars, and they do not appear to be at war.
I was kind of trying to figure out why this came out on a Monday morning.
Do you feel like Disney needed to change the narrative?
I was wondering if perhaps, Sarah McLachlan and the Lilith crew turning their backs on Disney last night, the weekend. Look, I imagine that this was like, we're going to put this out at some point. But this is like a strange way to release the teaser to the movie that you're kind of banking your next summer on, right? If that's in fact what they're doing. Maybe they have some animated movie I don't know about.
I genuinely don't understand what their internal perceptions or anticipation for this movie, what they are.
Yeah.
Like they could be underselling it intentionally, knowing that there is a built-in ceiling because it is not it's not expanding the tent, let's say. And then maybe that speaks to a future Star Wars cinematic release schedule where they spend a lot of money on Starfighter and then they release like smaller, could have been TV shows just to keep the
subs,
keep the IP humming, keep the sub. Well, but not the subs because this isn't even on the service. So I find it a little confusing for sure.
I was wondering whether or not.
Have you seen the poster?
I have. I thought it was.
It's fun.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Do you think this movie would do better if they called it Grogu Demon Slayer?
Apparently.
K-pop Mandalorian.
Yes. Keep pitching.
I keep getting, every Monday, I get this email called The Wake Up. It's from the Ankler. This guy, Sean McNulty, writes it. And, as the box office returns and analysis. And every week, it feels like the number one movie in the world is something called Demon something.
Yeah.
And it's like $500 million this weekend. And I'm like, I don't know what this is.
It's almost as if there's a groundswell of desire to slay monsters and demons in the zeitgeist. I don't know.
Maybe.
Do you have any, look, as someone who tried and sadly failed to have Baby Yoda on the podcast a few years ago.
Somehow my emails went unanswered, yeah.
Do you have any concern whatsoever that we are perhaps going a little hard on the guy
that we're showing the baby too much?
Is this look, I'll just speak my own truth. A couple decades ago, a show called Family Matters premiered, and I was like, hey, it's Reginald VelJohnson, the co-star of Die Hard. Uh-huh. He's just a working cop who has a family, and I'm like, what better way to wind down a tough week of third grade or whatever?
I imagine you like sidling up to a grown man at a bat mitzvah, and you're a kid.
Yeah.
And you're just doing the TV guide thing. You're like, have you seen Die Hard's Reginald Vell Johnson is making the leap to the small screen?
He's making the leap, yes, making the small step down. But my point is, I was like, this is an enjoyable family sitcom. Mm-hmm. Then Urkel shows up. And then it becomes the Urkel show.
It was pandemonium.
It succeeded.
Yeah.
Did I feel like Family Matters lost its heart that day and lost its way? I did.
Yeah.
Perhaps my first hot take in the TV space. Is this an Urkel situation? Which, to be clear, would mean it would become very successful.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like it.
I don't know, really. I think at a certain point, you have to give the people what they want. Do you know what I mean? Samurai Champloo learned that. I think Mandalorian learned that it was not actually this monosyllabic samurai that people were tuning in for,
right?
But the cutest thing that ever lived.
Wow.
That's just it, man. Speaking of giving people what they want, can I just bounce something off you here?
This is what we're here for.
Leonardo DiCaprio is apparently going to be in Heat 2.
Yeah, we talked about that, right?
Did we really get into it?
No, we can get into it more. So just the timeline of this is Michael Mann writes or co-writes the book Heat 2.
Yes.
And then it becomes very clear through word and deed and gossip that making this into a film...
It's almost like a proof of concept for a sequel, yeah.
But he spent the last few years basically behind the scenes being like, this is my next work. Has to happen. And there are all these rumors about potential casting, about collaborators. There was all this talk that like the Bear season 4 shoot was like in the background. All of those actors were like weapons training to be in Heat 2.
There were rumors.
And then then the next rumor was Apple or whomever was balking at the price tag that Warner was right, who had the rights. There was $200 million, no go, but that if Leonardo DiCaprio agreed to join the cast.
Yeah, I think that there was like a Bellany or something. Somebody wrote a column where it was like, it would need Leonardo DiCaprio to warrant this price tag.
Which would also then maybe bring on Apple as a co-investor,
something
potentially.
Like that, yeah.
Even though you know this, I don't know this. Is DiCaprio older now than De Niro was when he played Neil in the original? Not that matters anymore.
I think he is, but also maybe has taken better care of his skin than Robert De Niro did leading up to Heat. So you can kind of stretch it a little bit.
Okay. But anyway, now it's been announced.
No, it hasn't really been announced. It's been
World of Real was like, this is a go.
And other places have reported a bit on it, but it's...
Okay.
Mann did an appearance in Busan at the film festival over the weekend and was like, I am getting ready. I am budgeting. I am in pre-pro. We would like to shoot next year. That being said, and when I say this to people, quote unquote, I am saying it to me. I'm saying it to me to temper my expectations.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And to get ready for like some bumps in the road. I just want to point out that there has also been another filmmaker that I love, Martin Scorsese, and it's been like, what's Martin Scorsese doing after Killers of the Flower Moon? Like, when is this? He's going to make another movie, and is he going to make a Frank Sinatra movie? Is he going to make a Jesus movie? Is he going to make? There was a full court press announcement that he was making a Hawaii gangster movie months ago
with
The Rock and Emily Blunt. And it was like, this is happening. This is Martin Scorsese's. It's like Casino in Hawaii. And it's
Luau Casino.
Yes. And it was like, go.
Casino.
And now Dwayne Johnson's probably going to get nominated for...
Smashing Machine.
Yeah, for an Oscar. And it's like, this is rolling downhill. This is happening. And then last week, kind of quiet as kept, it was like Martin Scorsese has found his next movie. It's a thriller with Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Everybody was like, Leonardo DiCaprio has this goatee and all these One Battle After Another promo stuff. He must be getting ready to play Neil, like they're doing it.
Well, goatees notoriously take a long time to grow.
For me, it took all of COVID. I couldn't even get there. And no one cared. No one was like, cool mustache. And it was your fault because cameras don't pick up nuance, but you could have seen it and you could have been like, dude, you look good. And you didn't do it.
You do look good, but I didn't know what you were doing. I didn't know what was going on.
I was just expecting more from you, you know?
Wow. I did not think that's where our conversation about Heat 2 would go, but it is a personal subject for you. So bring your own heat.
I'm trying to temper my expectations and protect myself from being hurt because lots of stuff happens in this crazy town called Hollywood. And, you know, the way that things get announced is often not actually in sync with where they are in development or where they are in shooting. Often you'll see like, Rosemary DeWitt has joined this cast And it's like Rosemary DeWitt shot her part
Oh,
already.
well, that's like nobody wants this season 2, add Seth Rogen to cast. I'm like, that wrapped months ago.
Yeah, right. So I think that really what we're talking about here is just like fingers crossed. I note with interest that he has the goatee. I note with interest that they have now pretty much, like if it's Driver as somehow as Pacino.
Are they going to do the thing where they like film him in like the reverse Hagrid, where like he's just half the size he actually is?
It's literally like Honey, I Shrunk Adam Driver.
They like instead of an apple box, they dig a small apple box level of inches below.
And then I don't know what's going on with the possibility of the Chris sequel element of Heat 2. So
again,
there's two timelines.
For the normies, the book picks up, it's 2 storylines.
Yes.
There's a prequel part about Neil
in Chicago with Vincent.
Not like with him, like in a cohabitation.
Circling each other like birds,
right. Absolutely.
Birds,
classic birds.
Classic bird thing.
Remember the scene where birds go to a diner together? And everyone's like, finally, these birds are sharing
like, do you
a table.
Want to put it in my mouth? Yeah.
That's exactly what they say.
And then there's a sequel element that is Chris after the events of Heat.
That's Val Kilmer.
Yeah, going, I believe, to the triple frontier area and like working security for a triad. 2
questions. One, this is, Austin Butler was born to do that part, right? Like just that's...
Yes.
2, at this point, when you go to, quote, the triple frontier area, is it like going to the 4 corners in the U.S. where there's just like little shops advertising your chance to
Welcome to the triple frontier.
Like do a little narco-terrorism while you're here? Or do you want to like... Everyone's going there these days.
Oh, God. When are they going to make the triple frontier shared universe?
When are they going to make triple frontier 2, 6 frontiers or something, 4th frontier?
But like Night of the Soldado and have like the Brolin character from Sicario, all the guys together. I will say for true men, we are also tracking with interest Joseph Kosinski and Dan Gilroy's Miami Vice reboot.
We are all interested in this.
And the dream casting of that being Austin Butler and Aaron Pierre. And
do we want that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Joseph Kosinski, frankly, doesn't really miss. Like it may not be Hamlet, but it's going to look fucking cool.
And you get a Gilroy on the script. At this point,
Emmy-winning
I'm
Dan
Gilroy agnostic.
Yeah, you don't care.
All respect to Tony, just could be John, could be Rose. I don't care. Get me a Gilroy on it. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. Do you have anything that in your life that you feel like is your Heat 2? The thing you can't wait for
it to happen?
Yeah.
When you grow a beard again. I've been tracking trades. Like I think one day it could happen, but you never know when it's going to pop off or pop out.
What if I did like the turkey hair transplant, but it was just for a mustache? But I wouldn't.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
The Wayne Rooney, but it's just for a cool mustache.
Yeah.
I just have like Tom Selleck Magnum PI mustache.
I think it would be amazing.
Yeah,
we would all support you.
Yeah.
I think that just from the one thing I will say for sure from having worked in and around this town is that movies are absolute chaos. And no movies are happening until the second they hit roll.
Yeah.
Hit roll. See, it's classic movie talk. Hit roll, guys. We got the actor. No, but like the deals coming together, like everything is seat of your pants until you're suddenly there. And things have fallen apart at the 11th hour and things have come together at the 11th and a half hour. So I wouldn't worry so much about Scorsese saying he's doing this, that it's somehow going to preclude DiCaprio doing something else.
I'm sure you're right.
He could shave. He could go quick trip to Istanbul, have a new face, beard put on.
The only thing with Marty and Michael, both men getting up there in years.
Oh, you're worried about the
time
clock.
Is of the essence.
This is, you know what though? If there's one thing we've learned recently, this absolutely is a country for old men.
That's true.
Like
it's good news for us.
That title was not.
We got a long runway still to play with.
It's going to be great.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Task. All right, we are back. Task episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's Stronger Than Forgiveness. Written by Brad Inglesby, directed by Sally Richardson Whitfield, who has become, who's the guy who did Tim Van Patten, who was always like the HBO in-house, nailed Band of Brothers and Deadwood. And
Mylod was like that a little bit too.
Yeah, Mylod. she's worked on Winning Time, Gilded Age, EPs on both those shows, I believe, and it does a great job with this episode. First major set piece, I think it's fair to say. Well, I guess the robbery in the first episode.
But she did, there were some beautiful touches that really split the difference between like aesthetic show-offy director stuff and storytelling. Like there's a moment when we meet, what's his name, Freddie, for the first time.
Yep.
And we meet him
going through like the war in of like the kitchen and then the second, the ADU thing. Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot that was not calling attention to itself, but really, really drew us further into the story. It's these little details that add up. I loved it.
I want to start by saying, well, first of all, I thought this was a great episode.
This was a great episode.
I want to highlight two scenes to start with. First, we kind of skipped over her when we first were talking about the show, but Tuso and Bedu's performance in the interrogation of Shelley and her anecdote, her monologue about her own experience with domestic violence. And even watching this show, you're just kind of like, oh, it's interesting because, you know, Brandis tells her, go in there and get close to her. And has no idea, you know, I imagine that this is what she's going to do, that she's going to open up and make herself vulnerable. But I thought her performance was really powerful in that. And I got to talk to you about what is my favorite scene of the year.
Yes, sure.
Which is Lizzie and Grasso at the State Trooper bar.
Incredible.
Bruce Springsteen into Mother Love Bone. Please drop a pin in this fucking bar for me.
DJ CR on the decks.
So I can go. And I would like to just... I'm going to give you a statement. You say whether you agree or disagree.
All right.
Allison Oliver.
Yes, here we go.
Is to drunk Philly girl acting what Daniel Day-Lewis is to Abraham Lincoln.
I think that's setting the bar too low.
It's an understatement.
I think she is to Philly drunk girl acting what Daniel Day-Lewis is to acting. Like there is a moment. There are plenty of moments on this in this episode that I want to call out, that I want to celebrate, including the beautiful filming of my high school hangout, the Lanark Diner.
Yeah.
But there is a moment when, what's the dialogue? When Lizzie says, she says like, you know, DJ not getting any ass Nova or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, it's kind of true these days. And he looks away and her face lights up.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is an Emmy moment. This is like everything in that smile and in her eyes. That is an actor who is vibrating on the frequency of art and Yingling in a way that speaks to my soul.
There's also the point at the conversation when what she thinks is that he has noticed that she is an outcast among her fellow trooper. And he's like, yeah, I forgot I have to do something after like 3 Yinglings and shots.
He's hiding it well.
He's doing well. He's handling his booze well. And her reaction is, but I just bought a new pack.
Did you
I was like...
Was that like sing to me in your voice,
no,
American?
That is the point on Love is Blind when I kneel. That is the point where it's just like, what do you want from me? And I'll give it. I can't tell you what happened when Chloe Dancer came on in the bar. I seriously don't know if I have ever been in a bar where Chloe Dancer came on, but it's so beautiful to have like the piano part as just like she's going through this like experience of trying to keep up her sort of steely exterior, even though her life is spinning out of control and she's just had this giant fuck up at work. Just an awesome scene. And it's really what I think Inglesby does best is it's not necessarily the crime. I've seen some people comment like this mystery is kind of unraveled already. Like it's about like the people who are caught up in it.
I want to talk about one of Brad. We can call him Brad. One of his superpowers as a writer.
Inglesby, if you want to
keep it formal.
Mr. Inglesby, if you want to write for the New York Times.
I think he has particular set of skills as a writer that are very impressive. And one of them I think we'll spend more time on, which is just his sense of scaffolding and architecture and how he builds a season and how he pays off tension while moving the story forward in ways that are very, very subtle and very, very artful. But you mentioned it already, so I think we should focus first on something that he does that is particularly exceptional, which is something that in the wrong hands is one of the worst and least rewarding crutches of a mid-writer. The hero ball ISO play where a character introduces him or herself with a self-definitional monologue that has to at once, completely draw the attention of
Are you
everyone
talking
actually
about
in the room.
Freddie or Aaliyah?
Or Aaliyah.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them in this episode, and there's been a series of them. He is God tier at this, at writing these monologues and casting them so that they actually feel lived in, and less like a ball stopper being like, "Thank you for visiting me.
Yeah.
I'm here to say something that I would have said anyway into my mirror, but it's convenient that you happen to be here." Elvis Nolasco is the actor who plays Freddie, and that also is just a masterclass in controlling heat while cooking.
We got a lot of emails about whether or not he pronounced Lancaster right.
He did not. But
do you want to go into how it is properly enunciated?
No, because here's the thing. We are so deep in the weeds now that if we get it slightly wrong, or if we say it in a way that it's not said in Newtown Square or Upper Darby, no, we're doomed. You know what I mean? Forget about how they say it in Broomall.
Do you feel like we're throwing a no-hitter and we can't possibly afford?
We cannot.
2 guys who often need to Google like what day it is
or how many episodes
in the
there are
middle
in
of
the
the show. Yeah, okay.
But I thought that like the words that Brad Inglesby gives him in this scene are compelling. They're captivating. They're a little bit fucked. They're funny, but it's communicating something. It's giving a full life to someone who I imagine we'll see this character again. But we might not. Like in the same way that Ray, do you have the actor who plays Ray?
Yes, it is Peter Patrikos, who is also a junkie on Dope Thief, but is like a working lifelong character actor. And I don't know.
He's astonishing.
Like
he's so good.
Just the fact that they were like, he refs men's rec league basketball and have him in his stripes and his Foot Locker outfit is just so perfect. And like, just, everything about him and his wife, Shelley, that he's a piece of shit, that she's scared of him, that he's supposed to be on the straight and narrow, that his 2 kids are drugged out on video games, and that he has been waiting for somebody to come to his door and be like, do you want to get in on some action from the second he got home from prison, and that he is desperate.
So let's talk about the art that's happening like in the subtle ways of this show. I feel like this has been recently with Alien 2. I'm turning into like Paul Goldberger, architecture critic, when we talk about TV, but there's so many shows right now, and we're so many new shows starting off. And so I'm starting to pay more attention and I think appreciate more the scaffolding and the blueprint that's clearly done ahead of time as to where this is going. And with a show like this, he's doing a very, very impressive job not moving the ball forward every episode. So Cliff is now blown. The Dark Heart's path towards Robbie, as well as the Task Force path towards Robbie, is very, very clear and likely short. Like, I don't think we can keep those plates in the air for all of the 4 episodes remaining in this show. And I don't think they're afraid of that. What's impressive to me is that in addition to moving things forward at a relatively healthy clip, so we do not feel like we're being stalled in order to, show off or indulge things, he's doing something that in lesser hands can feel like the red herring of the week. So usually in murder mystery shows, ones that we love and ones that we nitpick, the way that they become 8-episode series instead of movies is each week introduces a new likely suspect and then clears that suspect so that there's something to investigate, some stakes for the next episode before finally revealing the ultimate person. This is a crime show without any mystery really about who did the crimes.
Yeah, and now we have to wonder who's the rat on the task force, but it's kind of,
which
you could do some process of elimination.
And we should get to that.
Yeah.
What this episode did is introduce Ray and Shelley, give them, like you said, a full illustration of inner lives, of conflict, of past, of history. And that's the story of the episode. That gives us the action sequence. That their story doesn't really matter past this episode. But that does the job of the red herring of the week in a way that feels so distracting and engaging that you don't notice any kind of water being tread. You
touched on something really interesting, which is that the conception that we had of this show, that it was a cat and mouse thriller of a cop and a criminal driven by some of the same things, could very well be over next week. Like, if the pace continues at this clip, like, there is what is the second half of this show about? And I wanted to bring up an email that we got a couple of weeks ago from someone named Tom. And I thought this was fascinating
Tom
when
Brandis.
I got it. No, but I didn't know where to fit it in, and I wasn't really sure what he was getting into. I'll just read the email from Tom. I enjoyed watching the first episode of Task and listening to your podcast about it. There's a note in the show that I thought you might want to get into. In the scene where Brandis's old friend visits him, the priest friend who visits him, the friend mentions having sent Brandis an article by Richard Rohr. Brandis, who is drunk, responds by mocking Rohr's theology of the universal Christ, pounding the table, asking, "Is Christ in this table?" And then standing up, rattling off the name of other Catholic theologians who he doesn't want to hear about anymore because he has all the info he needs on his Phillies cup, which is full of booze. I was surprised to hear Richard Rohr mentioned. He's well known among people, but not very famous. I know about him because my father-in-law got interested in Rohr's second half of life framework. And we talked about it for a while. I suspect that the person who made this show has a deep interest in this topic of second half of life and perhaps other ideas in the Franciscan contemplative practice.
Kaya, you're going to clip this part, right?
Yeah, this is the good stuff. So I looked into this a little bit.
Oh, I mean, clip it for Instagram. I think Chris reading emails should be on all of our socials.
I looked into this a little bit. Richard Rohr is probably best known for a book called Falling Upward. And this is an excerpt from Falling Upward.
Okay.
There is much evidence on several levels that there are at least two major tasks to human life.
Oh.
The first task is to build a strong container or identity. The second is to find the contents that the container was meant to hold.
What? Are you talking about Phillies cups?
The first task we take for granted as the very purpose of life, which does not mean we do it well. The second task, I'm told, is more encountered than sought. Few arrive at it with much pre-planning, purpose, or passion. We all try to do what seems like the task that life first hands us, establishing an identity, a home, relationships, friends, community, security, and building a proper platform for our only life. But it takes us much longer to discover the task within the task. As I like to call it, what are we really doing when we are doing what we are doing?
And to be clear, you said what are, not would'er.
Would'er. No, it's not about would'er eyes. I wonder what the second half of the season is going to be about.
First of all, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I feel like Pablo Torre right now. I'm like, let's get Richard Rohr in here. You know, like,
well, I love what it does to the title of the show. I love what it says about, look, that all of the really, really kind of exciting and provocative ideas in that email, that also in the theology, makes sense to me in the sense that this is a deep show. We are responding to it because it is very entertaining, and there's peach rings with tahini on them sprinkled throughout in ways that are delicious and surprising. And broadly speaking, this week is the episode where I completely stopped clock watching. Not just that the episodes are long, but like, where are we going with the storyline?
Yeah.
This is the week, in the parlance of our time, this is the week Task became a TV show to me in the best possible way.
Yeah.
All of that is true. The truly great shows that engage us either as viewers or on the podcast have that secondary task, if you will, of probing deeper.
Yeah.
And being worthy of that level of conversation or insight. And so that you can watch it on the first pass and be like, that was really wild, or Tom sure seems to be suffering. I hope they get the kid back. Second time, you could, whether people still write or read essays anymore, write an essay about the Phillies Cup and filling it up.
Yeah.
And what that means for this man who's been so emptied out by the choices he made in life.
And I think you have to take a second when you see something as honestly gorgeous as Maeve showing Sam how to swim.
Very beautiful.
Which looks like a baptism, which is obviously this moment in nature away from the chaos of, Lefty's tap room and drug dens and everything else. And wonder why a moment like that is in there and why it's shot where it's shot and shot so beautifully and so tenderly, and, start to consider like some of the obvious religious overtones. I mean, look at the title of the episode, so where are we going with this? This is something that I think will start to get revealed over the next episode or two.
We'll get a chance to talk to him about this, but Brad went to Villanova.
He did.
In a way, we started our partnership at Villanova.
Within spitting distance.
Not on the basketball team, but we went to the diner.
Yeah.
Not the Lanark Diner that night. I think the idea...
Did you see that Temple played Oklahoma the other week? And they got destroyed. But
in football?
Yeah. Oklahoma's band couldn't come for some reason, I think weather. And so St. Joe's just were like, you can use our band.
That's nice.
I thought that was uncalled for on St. Joe's part.
You think they shouldn't have done it?
It's Big Five rules, you know?
Well, they did it also because it's Big Five, and they were like, we are on the team of the team playing Temple.
Yeah, it's like enemy of my enemy, you know?
So you don't...
I don't condone it. I think that's...
First of all, you're playing all the sides against each other because you're like, I love Temple, I went to Temple, but then also like you're a Phil Martelli disciple.
I went to St. Joe's basketball camp.
So where does your allegiance lie? Okay, pick a side.
Is there no way to just be a center?
There's no nuance anymore in this country. The idea of looking at things as vessels that exist as one concept or one space, and then how they're filled, I think is relevant to in both Brad's understanding of the region that he is documenting and the way that it is shot. Because one thing, we talked about this briefly when we talked about the pilot, I think the one thing that might be surprising to people who have not spent time in the suburbs of Philadelphia and its surrounding counties is how rural it can be, how beautiful, how green.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that observation again last night when Cliff and Robbie go to visit Ray. Yeah. And the establishing shot, it looks like Mayberry. It is absolutely beautiful. The houses with stately porches and wood columns and beams and the mountain just behind it. This is a vision of America, you know, in the best way possible. And even when you walk into the house, when he lets them in, or Shelley steps aside and lets them in, like, house has good bones. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do
Chip and Joanna. Yeah.
Not trying to do $100,000 listing here, but I'm like, you know, it's similar to where Robbie and Maeve live, and they have chickens, and it's out, and there's a different way into this world where you're like, this is a place that people would retire to. Like, this is fine. Like, owning a home, having outdoors, like, isn't that what it's supposed to be? But what is the content of this beautiful green vessel these days? It's fentanyl and rage and impotence and sadness, which is not really a good recipe.
We got to meet Margarita Laveva's character, Aaron, a little bit.
You called it.
Well,
you called it.
You don't call the bat phone for Margarita unless you're gonna like do something with her, you know?
Yeah, but look, you just read this text.
I think that they were just fainting too much with Shane, you know?
Yes, although again, this is that ties into the observation I want to make about how some of the more practical structural stuff is just done artfully. Where last week when we were talking about episode 2, I was like, maybe Shane is the mole because he's acting sketchy.
Yeah.
He's not, but him acting sketchy is intentional and put in front of us, so we have that reaction, and then that Perry and the Darkhearts have that reaction. So it's not wasted space. It's not a red herring. That is going to be the next thing that gets dealt with, and probably not well for Shane.
Well, and then on the flip side of that, you've got what will probably be I've not watched episode 4, but will probably be a mole hunt, right? Like on Brandis's part. It doesn't look great for Grassanova just because he came out so strong in the first episode with a lot of Wikipedia intel about the Darkhearts.
Yeah.
I do not think it is Aaliyah.
No.
So the Zag would be Lizzie.
Right. But are they leaning too hard on the Lizzie's a mess kind of thing?
So
I think that I don't know how to do odds, and I don't understand what FanDuel does. But I would say that Grasso would be the
he's the betting favorite.
Right.
Yes. What else in the episode did you want to hit?
Don't you think he's also the favorite because of how likable he is being?
Sure.
I feel like it's an intentional misdirect. But B, he walked into lefties like you walk into lefties. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, the two of them walking into lefties was kind of...
It was kind of like Norm.
It was kind of like us walking in there. Or like one of the two is a little bit like, okay, we all know I don't belong here and I don't want to be here.
And Grasso was like talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a meeting the Big Balls Society at
God
lefties
damn it,
or something.
dude. Grassanova.
He's going to break your heart?
I mean... I'm sure there's nuance to it. I don't think it's just going to be like, you big rat. I'm sure he'll be like...
Look, Robbie's brother fell into the arms of the Darkhearts. I mean, Hearts is in their name.
The arms of Margarita Laveva. He didn't fall in, you know.
So she's worth it for you. That's your you're like, generally, you abhor
if
drug
you want
running.
me to push uncut fentanyl across county lines.
You got to make it worth your while.
No, I just mean... I think that the connections between the group of the people that we have met probably go much deeper than we know.
Did you have any, as someone who spent time there, went to college there, did you have any insight into the role Boston and the Ecuadorians might be playing? Just
can't comment.
But, oh, really?
Still sealed. Yeah.
Statute of limitations hasn't run out.
No.
What was the name of the place that we used to get breakfast in Back Bay? Charlie's?
Yeah. Still there.
A lot of Ecuadorian.
I took Sean there when we were in Boston for Bill's show. Yeah.
Was there still the framed photo of Tim Dog?
You know what? I didn't see it. I wonder if he's been canceled.
I think about it all the time.
Cancel culture came from Tim Dog.
Didn't it say, it said fuck Compton, right?
That was his song. I don't know if he said it on the paint in the picture.
He did.
Way to go for Charlie's for keeping it blue. I don't have anything else really other than...
Well,
yeah, we hit it all.
I feel like Cliff, I mean, if we were going to do numbers on the McBain Live Forever speech, I feel like Cliff's not.
Yeah, I know.
Cliff's not doing great.
Yeah.
Cliff's a little worried, he's a little upset.
And too many people know his name now.
And his home.
Yes.
I thought that there, again, it just understanding the nuance of the story. There's so many moving pieces. There's so many characters, but there's also just, the balancing act between the larger, the bigger shoes dropping in terms of who's doing what to whom and how it's going to play out. And then why you preload an episode like this with a little bit more of Robbie and Maeve, which was touched on at the end of last episode. Mm-hmm. And not only are both Amelia Jones and Tom Pelphrey amazing in the scene, and the two of them in their real accents talking to each other, which I saw on the HBO Max Instagram account, is really wild.
Yeah. Pelphrey was at the Eagles game.
Must have been agony for him. But Ruffalo was wearing
birds. Yeah.
He's wearing a Dawkins jersey. Yeah. He was fully, can we welcome him?
I think so.
He seems like a great guy. I feel like he knows he's rolling with the winners right now. No, just that in the Robbie scene, what he says in that scene about Jason shook my hand with the same hand he used to beat your father's brains out, and there's got to be a reason for all of this, and he needs to make it's a religious almost purpose out of this.
It can't just be that this is something that happened to us.
It's a showcase scene for the actor. It's a breakout scene for the emotional inner life of the character, but it also is just a smartly placed hedge against the kind of nitpicking conversation that can spring up in a show like this. He knows they're on borrowed time, and yet he is still very much living under his name in his house with his children.
Yeah, I also the fact that he's hanging on to this, I need $1 million for my family and to get out of it. It's this isn't a Bruce Springsteen song, man.
It's
you're
a Mother
not going
Love Bone song.
Exactly.
And those end up a lot different.
We can wrap there.
Did you recognize the Lanark Diner in that scene? So I was thrilled. I have to say, for a moment, I thought...
I have been pretty nerdy about the locations. Yeah. So the first episode, I think I spent too much time trying to create, and then found out the Inquirer was just making a map of the locations. The Philadelphia Inquirer. So I don't need to be how far would it be to get from from this place in Chester to this place? But...
Were you trying to treat it like Collateral?
As people come out of stuff, I try to see if they're a sign, and then I saw it was Lanark. Yeah.
So that diner, it's 4 minutes from the house I grew up in. That was where we went after high school, all the time.
Mozzarella sticks and black coffee, the world's
breakfast of champions. Yeah. That is, of all the things that I've said out loud on this show that everyone was like, that's not normal, bro. That is the one I will stand by.
Okay.
That is a classic teenage order. I inherited that order. I wasn't let me look at this whole menu. No snapper soup for me today, fellas. I want that and that. That's what the older kids got. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be like them. I'm not going to be smoking those cigarettes and running numbers like CR downtown. I just give me some fried cheese and I'm good. I briefly thought that they had only done the exteriors there and shot the interior somewhere else because they dressed the shit out of it. They put in very moody window shades and stuff. So it did not look the way it looked in my time in the interior or in Silver Linings Playbook, which I also filmed there.
That's right. Let's wrap there.
That was exciting.
I was thrilled for you. Thanks to Kaya, thanks to Kai, thanks to John, thanks to our listeners.
Thanks to our email writers.
And thanks to our incredibly intelligent...
theologians.
My theologian email writer saving our show. We'll be back on Thursday for the finale of Alien Earth.
Yeah.
And the first 2 episodes of The Lowdown.
And say hi to Ethan and Sterlin for me.
I will, brother.